From the Farrah and Farrah Sports Desk, it's First Coast Sports.
Hello, everybody. Chris Porter live from the campus of Ponte Vedra High School for our Sideline 2019 Game of the Week. The unbeaten Sharks taking on the unbeaten Bartram Trail Bears. Take a look on the field. Both teams are out here getting loose. The game is about a little more than 36 minutes before it will kick off here at the home of the Sharks. As you can tell, business is picking up. The band is finally making its way into the stands here. That is the Ponte Vedra Band. On the other side of the field, you can see some of the members of the Bartram Trail Band. But again, two unbeaten teams going head-to-head tonight. And you know we'll have complete highlights and reaction tonight on Sideline 2019. Let's hear from the players.
I haven't played on the field, but I've been at a couple of games where we've played them. Varsity, JV-wise, I've played them my freshman year. We got the best of them my freshman year, so we're just going to keep that going.
The last one was at 2016, I think, and that was a pretty big game in St. Johns County. So, but the kids have been talking a lot about it.
I don't know how much of it is a rivalry, more of just a big game. I mean, they're obviously a great team, and I mean, it's going to be a good game.
Up in Folkestone, Georgia, the football Friday night festivities got off real early, in particular at noon, and the reason why, Pro Bowl Hall of Famer and Folkestone native Champ Bailey was back at the school. Champ Bailey doing some big-time things for the Indians up there. The 2019 Hall of Fame inductee was back home in his hometown to present the Hometown Hall of Famers plaque to his alma mater. The All-Pro with the Redskins and Broncos will address the team tonight before they kick off their game against Irwin County. But this afternoon, everybody in Folkestone seemingly came out to see Champ at a pep rally, and boy, was he glad to be home sweet home.
If you don't love football in high school, you're not going to college. You're not going to the NFL. So it all starts when you're young and have no idea where you're going to be going after this. And it's all about fun. So you fall in love with the game and try to make the most of it. And, you know, I had the supporting cast to get me to where I am now, and I'm just thankful.
Jaguars in Carolina taking on the Panthers, and they will be without Jalen Ramsey. Doug Marrone saying that Jalen is still having back issues, and he's scheduled to see a specialist real soon. That means the Jaguars will be relying heavily Sunday on Trey Herndon.
It was some good and some bad. You have to learn from it, have a short memory. You don't want to give up touchdowns in the game. I know that feeling, but he was in tight coverage. It was just a good play, good catch. Certain things, you know, that beat our rules last week in the red zone that we never really see in practice. So I watched the film, kind of understood where he was coming from with that. It's just tough, but it's, you know, we came out with the win. It's something that we could learn from. So, you know, he's out there still positive, still making plays today in practice. So he's ready to go.
The Jags and Panthers will kick off Sunday at 1 o'clock. Again, the Sideline 2019 Week 6 Game of the Week. The Ponte Vedra Sharks taking on the Bartram Trail Bears. We'll have more on this game tonight at 7 on ABC 25. I hope to see you then.
This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Football, ladies and gentlemen. Say it with the Southern accent. It's back in Jacksonville, a taste of the South tonight. First preseason home game of the year for your Jacksonville Jaguars. They play the Eagles. And to celebrate, we are live from TIAA Bank Field all morning long.
And celebrating the start of football back here, but also celebrating 25 years of Jags in Jacksonville. So a lot of changes, a lot of updates made to the stadium in that time. And one in particular, focusing on the fan experience.
Fans, you know what? Dogs can be fans. And if you've got a dog, bring it, okay? Pet Paradise back for this season. We'll tell you how you can get involved in that if you want to bring the pooch down. GMJ live from TIAA Bank starts right now. Hope you're having a great morning so far.
Hey, I'm Katie Jeffrey. So we are live here at TIAA Bank Field, one of the shows that we look forward to
every year. Every
single year, because it's so much fun. And I love that football is back.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's a sign that temperatures are about to change. I mean, eventually, I know we're going to deal with a couple of months of it being 120 in the stadium. And today's weather is certainly going to be an issue, a wild card for sure. That's why Mike Pranley and Steve Fundero are so critically important this morning as we talk weather and traffic together for a football game. Good morning, guys. How about a healthy do-ball for us?
Good morning.
You want to do a do-ball real quick?
Do-ball. Let's do it.
3,
1, 2, 1.
Do-ball! Good morning, Jacksonville.
That'll wake you up.
It's always a good way to start the day.
Always
right,
a great
Steve?
way to start the day.
Okay. So we've got the X's and O's when it comes to weather today.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to the big board here.
The biggest board.
Teal
The biggest
Day,
screen you've ever
Thursday.
done weather on, right?
Without further ado, you can see we've got the Eagles and Jaguars, of course, the kickoff, 7 p.m. tonight. And everybody's wondering about the weather. Well, this morning, we already have a few showers on radar south of town. But I think our rain time for the kids getting to school, you getting to work, would be at lunchtime. And then through the afternoon, the rain will pick up and become heavy. Now, as we go into this evening, there will still be a leftover shower or two, but most of the rain should be done. And what we're talking about are temperatures near 90. So the heat wave is over. And today's our transition days, I like to say, Steve. We're transitioning into the rainy pattern and the cooler pattern.
And the cooler pattern is more important. You're saying 6 days where temperatures were feeling like at least 110 degrees?
110.
Yeah,
it was
which
too
is
much.
It's a little bit oppressive. So we get a little bit of that nice breeze today. Roadways are looking great this morning. I mean, it's super early. Kids are out and about, I know for school, but I think things will start picking up within the hour or so. We're going to have some details on the ins and outs around the stadium in the next traffic hit in just a bit. We're going to talk about where to park, where to go, what bridge to take, all that jazz in just a bit, guys.
All right, guys, thanks so much. I've never felt more secure with them.
They've
really
got it
working
handled.
hard. They've got the pencil and paper in hand. They're ready to be scientists this morning. Let's get in our fast lane. Before we get in our other Jags headlines right now, let's get your top stories as we prepare for a Thursday out there. Accused killer Russell Tillis going to be back in front of a judge at 9 a.m. By the time this is all said and done, we'll be legal experts. Tillis allegedly killed Joni Lynn Gunter and buried her body in his backyard at his home. Today's hearing is on a motion filed by Tillis to represent himself again. He has already cycled through numerous attorneys, more than a dozen, and he's filed at least 8 motions to have them removed. Tillis, of course, faces the death penalty, and he wants to represent himself. This morning out of St. Johns County, a man covered in blood manages to get into a deputy's vehicle and take off down 95.
So, of course, a high-speed chase ensues. It ends in the area of I-95, State Road 206. Let's check in with our Nick Baroque, who's following developments on this morning.
Well, good morning. Yes, this is really a wild case when you consider how this whole thing started. Jacksonville Sheriff's Office reached out to St. Johns County yesterday around 6 to let them know of a reckless driver heading south down 95. Now, St. Johns County deputy would spot that car, high rate of speed, coming off the ramp here near where I'm standing. Again, State Road 16 and 95 South is what we're talking about here. Notice that car, high rate of speed, slam on the brakes and stop in front of that St. Johns County deputy. Now, the deputy would notice a man and woman get out of that car, the man bleeding, the woman going in the opposite direction of police. But we can tell you that the St. Johns County deputy tried to help that man, not knowing, again, the injuries, the extent of the injuries. The man became confrontational with police. Now, meanwhile, St. Johns County lieutenant in an unmarked SUV stopped to try to help that deputy control the situation, was unsuccessful. That man actually eluded both the deputy on scene and the unmarked SUV, got in the unmarked SUV and headed south down 95. Now, they were able to use a pit maneuver along State Road 206 and stop that man in the car. Now, again, right now, they believe that the injuries were not suffered from that pit maneuver, but from crimes connected in Duval County. We hope to hear more from Jacksonville Sheriff's Office again. But a wild scene out here in St. Johns County. Believe this could have started in Duval County. And again, ending here in St. Johns County. Keep it right here for the very latest on this. In St. Johns County, Nick Baroque, First Coast News, on your side.
Thank you, Nick. So, obviously, this morning we are not at our normal news set. You can tell things are a little bit different here behind us. That's because it's the first home preseason game. Football is back in town, and we're so excited for the Jags game tonight.
Thrilled to death. 25 years of football for the Jaguars, and marking the 25 years, a lot of new additions here around the bank that you'll notice as you come in for tonight's game.
So let's check in with our Brooks Baptiste. He has all kinds of great information for us. So, Brooks, what's going on?
Hey, great morning to you guys. Yeah, it is an incredible day here on the First Coast. We're talking about the Jags taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, but think about this thing. You're going to have thousands that are going to take the stands tonight. And yes, although many are excited about it, unfortunately for those with sensory needs like autism, dementia, or PTSD, well, that can be a bit challenging. But ahead of tonight's big game, guests will now be able to find bags around the stadium to ensure that everyone can have an enjoyable game day experience. Hey, let's face it, here at TIAA Bank Field, nothing compares to all of the loud noise from fans and, of course, the bright lights from those large video boards. But for those with sensory needs, they often find themselves isolated from the community.
What we found is that 1 out of 6 Americans actually have a sensory issue. So it's not just individuals with autism, it's also individuals that suffer from PTSD, from anxiety, and several other things. So we want to make sure that they're able to come to the games and have fun and feel included and are able to enjoy themselves.
So the Jacks partner with Culture City to improve the ability to accommodate those with sensory needs by creating special bags that you can check out before a game at guest services stations around the stadium.
And in this sensory bag, it has items such as noise-canceling headphones, a feelings thermometer, a few little fidget things, and then we also have weighted lap pads that guests can use.
So as you can see, pretty cool things right there. But yes, talk about sensory needs and how important it is so that everybody can have that enjoyable game day experience. But the best part about it, it's free. All you have to do is literally just check out the bag and then turn it in at the end, and you can find it at all of the guest services stations. There are 7 of them around the stadium. Of course, on our website, firstcoastnews.com, we'll have more information about how you can make sure you get your hands on one of those bags if you are in need. All right, back to you.
Thank you, Brooks. All right, so we know that we're going to be out here during Good Morning Jacksonville, but if you're looking for a little behind-the-scenes peek all day long, you can go to firstcoastnews.com. We got a live blog going there. We've been tweeting out a little Duval battle that we've been having with Mike and Steve, so all kinds of cool stuff. Make sure you check it out.
And don't forget, 2 of the biggest Jacksonville Jaguar games of the season are on ABC 25. That's right, First Coast News will be your home. September 19th game against the Titans. That's a prime time game. And then November 3rd, the Jags will play the Texans. That's the London experience this year. That'll be a little tea time football, 9:30 in the morning, both games on ABC 25.
And as we are celebrating 25 years of the Jags, can you believe it's been 25 years since the team came here? There has been all kinds of different updates and changes made to the stadium, throughout the years.
Including paperless tickets. Right, and that's had some interesting reviews for sure. As we get used to those and new age technology, there is a change, though, even to the paperless ticket, that you just can't take a screenshot of your ticket anymore and show it at the gate. We'll tell you what you need to know to get into the bank.
Well, welcome back. We hope you are having a wonderful Saturday morning. If you need to wake up a little bit, well, DJ Brainwreck is joining us in the studio this morning and really showcasing your unique talent of combining live instruments with your DJ skills.
Absolutely. How did you come about this? Tell us, before we get right to the music, tell us a little bit about the story and how long you've been playing, how long you've been putting this stuff together.
I'm 29 now. I've been playing music since I was about 16. I started actually as a musician playing the guitar when I was about 9. So 16, I guess, was when my DJ career fully started. I was in the clubs before I was even of age back in, and started doing that. And just recently, actually in 2020, I decided I'm all about individuality, and bringing in my individuality is live instrumentation with my DJing. So
I don't think we've asked, how'd you get the name DJ Brainwreck? Where'd that come from?
DJ Brainwreck, that's a very long story, and if you knew me a little bit better, you'd probably understand why. I'm very forgetful, and
there you go.
I need a chaperone.
There we go.
That's okay.
Anywhere I go.
And the music will just kind of wreck your brain because it just melts you down. It sounds so good.
Absolutely. My love, my girl, she'll tell my girlfriend, she'll tell you day in and day out. My love of 6 years, she'll tell you day in and day out that I definitely need a chaperone and somebody to always be there to kind of pick up after me, I suppose.
Well, we're going to let you take this away on your own, though.
Right, absolutely.
We're getting out of the way.
There you go.
Yes. Great. Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands
To creep in and stop it.
It's
Sounds
okay.
amazing. And there's strobe lights over here. I don't know if you can see them on TV or not. I don't know what time of day it is, but thank you for waking us up. And you know, DJ brain wreck, not train wreck, brain wreck.
That's a common mistake.
Well, it's a hard act to follow. We're gonna
I
see
appreciate
if
it.
Steve Fundero can follow it though. Steve?
I can. My brain is wrecked. That's why I call him DJ Brainwreck. That was awesome, man. That was awesome. Hey, we've been dealing with the rain all morning, but it is cooperating with the forecast, cooperating with the timing, and has now been settling down for the majority of us. We just have about an hour or so left of this front to go before it really clears out this afternoon with the breeze. Now, there have been some rumbles of thunder down to our south, but watch what happens when most of this rain activity moves onshore south of the Big Bend. Lightning settles down a little bit, right? So not seeing much in the way of thunderstorm activity. That's some good news. So we'll just keep it rain through the 10 a.m. time frame, and really 10:30, things will be settling down by late morning. The rain will be settling down. It's going to be a windy afternoon behind this because we have a drastically different air mass moving in. You remember yesterday how beautiful it was. Had to get outside for a little bit and paddle out despite rupturing my eardrum because it was so nice out. We hit a record high at 85, but we are going to a much cooler, drier air mass by tomorrow morning. So today, the transition period, we're going to feel that with the wind all day today. It sets up a very chilly morning Sunday. 38's the low, but it'll feel more closer to maybe 32, 35 because wind chill will be a factor. Really, anywhere you go, we're in the mid to upper 30s, low 40s in some spots on the Atlantic coast, but that's about it. We finished the weekend on a beautiful note, though. Post-cold front weather, some of my favorite sunshine brings us from Sunday afternoon all the way through Monday.
Welcome back. We hope you're having a good morning. It's the weekend, and so we've had a pretty lively show here. We're checking back in with Jay and Melanie with their famous YouTube series, Wow, Is That Vegan?
Wow, Is That Vegan?
I love it. And you guys have a finished product for us. We're
We
excited.
surely do, yeah. We're getting it sauced up right now.
With
I'm going to cut it.
homemade hot sauce.
Some homemade hot sauce.
If you missed it before, it's a fried
Buffalo
cauliflower
yeah.
sandwich, right?
Yes.
And
That
it
just
smells
sounds
delicious.
With
With homemade
homemade-
ranch.
Homemade ranch.
Homemade ranch. What was in the ranch a little bit? Tell us how we get that before you slice it up, Jay.
Ranch is vegan mayo, lemon juice, fresh dill, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of onion, salt, pepper.
That's
That looks
that's fantastic.
Amazing.
And look at the bun.
And
oh
hot
my
sauce.
Goodness.
Pretzel bun, yep.
So after we
Right up
fried the
Steve's alley.
cauliflower, we had the oven going. Tell us a little bit of the process. Is it once you fry it, you throw it right on the sandwich and you're good to go? Or?
So the oven was just to toast the bun.
Gotcha.
No oven is really needed in this recipe. You could toast the bun in the pan if you needed to.
Awesome.
So after you fry the cauliflower, you just let it chill on a wire rack and salt it, and then you build your sandwich.
And then you're good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's time for Steve to dive in.
Yeah.
You guys both want to dive in. We'll
All
just.
right. I gotta cheers you. This looks.
That looks good.
Can you see the inside of this? Look at this sandwich.
Cross cut.
Nice.
You guys get this, but we're
Cheers.
gonna have the cheesecake.
We get the cheese.
We're gonna have the vegan cheesecake coming up. How is it?
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys got a little something on
That's
your.
so good.
Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're fine. You just enjoy. Thank you guys so much.
Dude,
and
this is
again,
so good.
remember the YouTube series is called.
This is so good.
Wow, is that
Wow,
vegan?
is that
vegan?
Is that vegan? This is so good.
I
I'm hitting
love
that
it.
subscribe button after this break.
Absolutely.
We're gonna check back in with Jay and Melanie here in just a little bit. We're gonna let them eat, and as we head to break, we're gonna check in with DJ Brainwreck. Stay with us.
This is First Coast News at noon.
First at noon, we are following breaking news out of California. Right now, authorities on the scene of a school shooting in Santa Clarita. Now, this is a live look there at the scene. This is not far from Los Angeles. Police are looking for a suspect said to be a teenage boy dressed in all black, so not much of a description. Our sister station in Los Angeles reporting at least 5 victims, 2 of them in critical condition. Other schools in that area are on lockdown, and officers are combing through a neighborhood not too far from the school. We'll keep you updated if any new information comes in. Good afternoon. I'm Katie Jeffries. So it has been 2 days since remains were discovered in an area between Linden and Demopolis, Alabama, and we are still awaiting forensic tests to confirm the identity of those remains, believed to be that of missing 5-year-old Taylor Williams. Now, Taylor was reported missing by her mother, Brianna Williams, last Wednesday. She said that she last saw her daughter in their Brentwood home, and investigators have spent countless hours searching multiple states for this missing child. Now, Brianna Williams stopped cooperating with police after police say they pointed out some inconsistencies in her story. An arrest warrant reveals details about Taylor's life with her mother before that disappearance, things that indicate neglect. Police charged Brianna on Tuesday with child neglect and giving false information to officers. However, instead of going to jail, she was taken to the hospital after a suicide attempt. Now, Brianna was supposed to appear in court yesterday, but because of her condition, she did not appear. According to an arrest warrant, a neighbor once found little Taylor alone wandering along the Southside apartment complex wearing her pajamas, holding a doll. And when he asked her what she was doing, she replied, quote, "Looking for my mama," end quote. There are still so many questions here about what happened to Taylor, but also how did Brianna go from being an honors student, homecoming queen at her high school, described by her family as a good person, to being the suspect in the disappearance of her own daughter. Our Kaylee Tracy is in Alabama right now near Brianna's hometown of Linden with more about how her family describes her.
Yeah, Katie, we spoke with her uncle yesterday in her small hometown of Linden. Less than 5,000 people there. He says she was, again, like you said, very smart, graduated at the top of her class, never got into any trouble, and says that their family is completely surprised and shocked with what is going on. Now, we first arrived in Linden last Friday, and then a neighbor there told us it is a small, again, close-knit town where everybody knows everyone. As the week went on, we found that to be even more true. Again, a town just under 5,000 people. Brianna's uncle says he and Brianna's aunt raised her in that small town from age 6 to when she graduated high school and then joined the military. He called her the daughter he never had. Jackson says Brianna's dad wasn't around and her mom was not able to raise her at the time he and his wife had Brianna live with them. Jackson says Brianna, again, never got into any trouble and says this is not the child he and his wife raised.
You know, we're trying to get together, so, you know, closing ranks and trying to figure out what's going on, really. I mean, right now it's a lot of stuff that's not, you know, unanswered stuff that we don't understand right this minute. But eventually, you know, everything hopefully will come around to where we can get a grip on what's going on right now. Right now we're just up in awe right now.
Now he tells us he has not talked to Brianna in 3 years. The last time he talked to her was when Brianna brought Taylor to that house that she grew up in 3 years ago. He says he thought Taylor then was a healthy, normal baby. And we also talked to community members in that town of Linden, some who went to school with her or taught her at the high school there. And they said the same thing as the uncle. She was a smart person and everyone loved her. For now, reporting in Alabama, Kaylee Tracy, First Coast News, on your side.
Now, as soon as we learn more information in the search for Taylor Williams, we'll bring you those updates on air and online, as well as on our app. 2 suspects arrested for burglary at the new Hilton Home Suites in Nassau County. So deputies responded Wednesday morning to a fire alarm at the hotel along Sadler Road in Fernandina Beach. When they arrived, they found glass broken, a brick had been thrown through a window, extensive damage inside the hotel, which was scheduled to open soon. They also found a fire extinguisher with white powder that had been sprayed throughout the building. 33 rooms were damaged and an estimated between $300,000 and $500,000 worth of damage. Deputies arrested Rafael DeJesus and Sage Cherzanowski. Now, we are still waiting to find out the cause behind the fire that burnt a vacant building that used to be a historic Thunderbird Motor Hotel. Now, you can see here on the left of your screen the charred remnants of that building. Nobody was hurt, and JFRD was able to get it under control in about 30 minutes, which is pretty incredible because you see on the right side of your screen how big this blaze was. A viewer even took some video from the Arlington Expressway, and JFRD arrived on scene. They say it was fully involved at that time. The state fire marshal is investigating, and our Eliza Powell is working to find out more about the history of that building. She'll have that story tonight at 5 o'clock.
I am not here to spend a lifetime of politics. I'm here because I truly believe we are on the edge of a cliff in this country.
So former anchor and Jacksonville native Donna Deegan announced her bid for Congress this morning. She's running against incumbent U.S. Representative John Rutherford. The 3-time breast cancer survivor and founder of the Donna Foundation made the announcement earlier this morning. Our Lana Harris was there and joins us with more.
Yeah, and dozens of people showed up here today to support Donna Deegan's bid for Congress. She says she hopes to be a voice that can unify both Democratic and Republican parties. Now, she is running as a Democrat, but says she talked to people on both sides of the aisle before she decided to run. In fact, she says she spent most of her political life as a no-party affiliate because she says she believes there are reasonable voices on both sides and doesn't like how divided politics have become. Now, as far as her priorities, health care is at the top. Donna says she wants to help ensure health care is a right for every American. She also mentioned hearing the desire for background checks for gun sales on both sides of the aisle and says she would support that as well. Donna says that she's interested in finding out what people want and being their voice in Congress, not the voice for special interests, and that she believes that people are tired of not being heard and that we're at a pivotal point in our country.
I believe we're at a point in this country where if people who can don't, if we have the opportunity to change the conversation and we don't, I think we're in a situation where we could literally lose our democracy. I feel like it's gotten that bad in terms of our polarization. And I think if we don't get to a point where we are listening to each other, we will not get there.
Now, even in this political landscape, Donna says that she believes people will be able to trust her because she is not a career politician that is looking to jump offices, and says that she just wants to be a voice for the needs and the wants of the people. Here in Riverside, I'm Lana Harris, First Coast News, on your side.
And as most of you know, Donna Deegan is a former news anchor here at First Coast News. Her husband is Tim Deegan, our chief meteorologist. Let's take a look here towards the weather. Chilly out there, but really not as cold as yesterday. You don't have the wind chill that you had yesterday. I actually kind of found it pleasant.
I agree with you, Katie. I live for days like today.
Seasonal.
The clouds around, the nice little breeze makes you want to snuggle up with that blanket, make that warm hot chocolate. You say you had hot chocolate at your desk. I said, Katie, is that mocha? What was your drink?
Usually I get like a cafe mocha, but today, hot chocolate.
She's like, is that cafe mocha? She's like, no, hot chocolate. I was like, I'm having one later tonight because we need it. Even though the temperatures are a little bit higher than yesterday, it still feels pretty brisk outside. But again, like Katie said, nowhere near as cold as yesterday was. We got a range of everything, a little bit of everything for everyone. We're at 70 at St. Augustine, 75 right now in Flagler County, Palm Coast, all the way to the low 50s in Waycross. That's where a lot of the dry air is. We're kind of just in between that boundary right now, and as a result of being in between, we got the wind. Look at the beach cam at Jack's Beach. If you believe this is the pier right here. It's all blurry and dreary and drippy, so to speak, because some fog had a tough time clearing this morning. That breeze will be with us all day today, and it's going to make it feel on the brisk side. Here come the clouds that are filtering in. A few showers are offshore. A few of them may make their way onshore into the evening, but it's out towards the south and the west that we look for the shield of rain to build in. Timing now looks to be a little bit later than first anticipated, but we do expect that rain to build in later tonight. So a couple showers for the evening commute, and the bulk of the precipitation works in late tonight when we're headed to bed, and it will be with us until we're waking up. So that was about 6 o'clock on the radar. This is 10:30 tonight. One of my favorite things, going to sleep with the sound of rain and also waking up with the sound of rain. So we're going to have that morning precipitation for the Friday commute, but we do clear out for the weekend. And where it is dry and also cold, no matter what the weather is outside, is inside the VyStar Veterans Arena, which is where Mike Prangley is enjoying himself a grand all time at the Iceman game there, having a good time. Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Stevie, verifying this great forecast. It's a big day, VyStar Veterans Arena. I'm with Callahan Middle School, and it's school day. How you doing, kids? All right. So think about this. We've got 80 schools. We've got great hockey, and basically this is an education. And what we've been talking about here in the stands is a lot of science and math, and these kids are very smart. So we're highlighting these amazing kids, and we've been talking about the ice temperature, 24 degrees. Right by the ice, you see we're dressed warmly because temperatures can get down near 60 degrees. But as we look at the weather, we've been talking a lot of meteorology, right? So we've been going over the different kinds of clouds. And kids, the lesson today is this. What is the most common type of rain cloud? Stratus. You get an A+. Great job. All right. So these kids got a nice big bag packed with apples. You got some, yes, apples, sandwiches, water, and of course, an Iceman towel to wave around. So as we get to this forecast here tonight, we'll talk about those most common type of rain clouds, the stratus clouds, with meteorologist Steve Fendero, and time it out all the way into your weekend. Kids, let me hear you from West Nassau. All right, there you have.
Oh, thank you so much, Mike. So JTA bus operators now have a protective shield around their driver's seat there to keep them safe. It was a $600,000 investment to put shields in every JTA bus to protect the drivers. It's a project that they've been working on for the past couple of months, and you can see those shields here. Safety is a priority, and in addition to the shields, there are also audio-visual upgrades with the cameras there on the buses, as well as an enhanced relationship with law enforcement. It is that time again. St. Johns County Library System is offering its Food for Fines program. So if you have those overdue library books sitting around, you can wipe away your debt with a food item. For every one non-perishable food item, that will remove $1 of debt in your library fines. The food items and pet food will go towards the Health and Human Services Food Pantry to help those in need. Now you can bring your donations to any branch, or you can bring them by the bookmobiles. The program runs now through December 20th. Lunchtime rumbles might be affecting your stomach right now, but our Mr. Foodie is taking you across town for a taste of some chicken salad.